Tova. I'm so happy
Hi,
you're here.
Kel.
Hi. I'm happy to look at 3 cards from the Emerging Showgirl Awakening deck with you. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to share you with the world. This is
Yay!
delight. So, hello, world. I'm Kellita from Showgirl Awakening, and I have the honor of having with me Tova Mustacich. And she's a full spectrum doula. Do you want to say a word about that?
Yeah, sure. Full spectrum doula means that I work with birthing people across every threshold that's related to childbirth. So, all the way from preconception through postpartum, including miscarriage, abortion, infertility journeys, IVF. I work with all of those processes.
And everyone who gets your accompaniment during those stages, I can tell you, is very lucky. The the care and the depth with which you um, approach all of these thresholds, many of which you have experienced yourself.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Thank you.
pretty.
I love to hear that. It's something that feels really important to me and also really difficult to do well and important to do well. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, thresholds. And if you want to follow Tova, you can follow her at Tovaree, Tovaree, on Instagram. And emerging, and may have emerged by the time this makes it into the world, darkmoondoula.com. There's the website that's emerging. Yes.
Yes.
Just how it sounds. And doula is DOULA, darkmoondoula.com. And here, speaking of doula, this deck is being doulaed. So today you're a deck doula.
Yes. There's a doula for everything.
Yeah. It's the way shower, the walker with.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Walker with. Never heard that.
Exactly.
I have to tell you that I have been often picking one card that I know because it feels like, oh, we would have fun. I would have fun talking about this one card.
Mm-hmm.
And the card I have chosen for you ended up happening in the last interview. But it's okay because it's an overarching card. It's the third pillar of Showgirl Awakening, which is receive, because I know you have such a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with receive. But what ended
Yes.
up happening is I was talking with Valerie about Revel, and it just came up that all of the 3 pillars wanted to be addressed
Yes.
together. But what I want to do is pick 3 cards, or at least start with one in the receive family, which
Yes. That
means
sounds
we can,
awesome.
yay, okay. And I'm still working with just little paper beta right now as the design is happening. And the one that I wanted to do is hiding in my apartment somewhere.
Oh.
He's keep hiding from me. First, a whole deck hid. So what about the ones that are handy? I just pick one to start.
Yeah, go for it. I'm into that. I love that.
I was going to save the second or third one for the pick, but we're just going to do this.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Ooh, we have mutuality.
Oh.
That's so interesting because I thought I need something to make it more interesting for where I sit and record. And this is the picture. I don't have the means to put it up. I'd have to put a nail in, and I thought of it too late. But this is the picture that I thought wanted to be there.
It's beautiful.
It feels
So
very
beautiful.
mutuality.
It
Yeah,
does. It does.
very mutuality. Yeah. So
Well, mutuality is a word that I like know the meaning of the word, but I also haven't worked with you directly on it. So I'm
I
really curious to know, like,
know.
how you think of mutuality, like within your deck and within the Showgirl Awakening framework.
Yeah. It's one that I have had it more in an aspirational place than in
Mm.
one that I have combed through and combed through. I mean, this, just to be completely transparent, this deck, even once it hits paper and gets in its little baggies and makes its way out in the world into different hands and homes, it is still emerging.
Oh yeah, it's like a living, breathing thing.
Totally
Yeah.
living, um, just like the burlesque acts that get created in the
Yes.
Showgirl Awakening way. It is living and breathing. So I want to be honest, the whole receive category is a territory that I am living into and leaning into and in active learning of.
Yes.
So the mutual, here, no. So funny. I think there must be little office workers. Sometimes talk to them in my brain because I couldn't find anything. And I almost felt like a little office worker in my brain ran up to me. No, you have a file, here it is. Thank you. The file is this. My experience, and there's some topics that come up almost every interview, and sensitivity is
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, honestly, I think that this deck will be, or is, most resonant for people who have highly sensitive nervous systems, which is 1 in 5 people. That's a lot of people. So I'm just going to go ahead and name it. And if you're listening or watching and you don't know, just put in HSP or highly sensitive person and on in Google, and you'll get resources. And I just want to give a little plug because I always love to plug her, Annie Axford, ANEAXFORD, at Sensitive Leadership. If you want to really dive into sensitivity, please follow Annie. Yeah. Annie for Sensitive Leadership Presidency. But
I love Annie Axford. She's so great. You introduced me to her.
I did. And I hope that this introduces her to many more. In fact, I want to interview her in this series.
That sounds amazing. I will definitely be looking forward to hearing that.
The mutuality piece it's typical for highly sensitive people to look to fix themselves.
Mm.
Yeah. And this is a complicated topic, but so in that looking for fixing, there's often even when I talk about this, my whole body feels a little sad. Just have to acknowledge, I just feel it. I have to pause on that. So there's the fixing piece, but yeah, it does make me sad. And then I lost the train. This is another thing. If this is your first interview, my trains leave the station sometimes. I have to wait for them to come back. So hold this to the side for a minute. The looking to be fixed.
Yes.
And what is that other piece? Okay. Oh, I know why I'm getting fuzzy and foggy right now. Because this is the territory just that I talk about in my one woman show, I Know. I-K, open parenthesis, N-O, close parenthesis, W, which is the double meaning of I know with my noggin and I-N-O as a verb. It's a show about learning boundaries, inside and out. I get foggy and fuzzy because this is the latest trance that I've almost broken. Because clearly there's a little tranciness still here because I'm having trouble even touching it because it stayed hidden from me for so long. Oh, this is the other thing. Highly sensitive people often probably look for more ways to make themselves work better than most. And why does this second half keep going away? It must not be okay for all of me to know. And they love helping other people too. Are either of these things bad? No, they're not inherently bad. This is subtle territory. Is it okay to be a guide and a way shower and a helper and a nurturer of others? Absolutely, yes. Is it okay to look for and receive assistance in our journey of becoming ourselves and bringing all of our parts home? Absolutely, both yes. And at least for this highly sensitive person, what I've noticed is I've become so good at being in the helper role and the helpee role. Like, excellent. I'm an excellent helpee and helper. And these are both fabulous places. These are fabulous. And this middle other different ground, which is of pure mutuality, is less known to me. It's just less known. I am not an expert on it, but I'm interested in it. And some people are going to miss, I know it, some people are going to miss what I'm saying here because it's this subtle thing. There can be, like, even in a beautiful helper-helpee relationship, there is a kind of mutuality. There's two equal humans. If there ever is the sense that there is a hierarchy on the humanity level, something has gone askew. There is then there's an agreement, whether it's made explicit or not, that when there is a helper-helpee situation going, that yes, the one who's receiving help is a bit they're opening in a vulnerable way and they're opening either their heart or their mind or their body or all three. But in my, boy, I can only go on a deep dive with this, but will you stop me if it goes to a place that you feel like, wait a minute, I lost you?
Yes, yeah. No, I'm following.
Okay, good.
I'm following.
Because I'm discovering it as I'm going. But oh yeah, because this is what I believe. And in here, you see my shirt in Showgirl Awakening. This is that the helper is not ever objective and can't be objective. They can only speak and know and sit in their own subjectivity as they are helping or guiding. And this is different from the notion of at least the kind of, let's go back to the origins of modern day psychotherapy. That was not the idea. The idea was that there was a blank slate, a very well-trained expert blank slate, who was there to help process the other person who was having a very subjective experience. I do not believe that. I believe that there's just a decision. In this instance, I'm reaching my hand to you. And in this instance, you can hold on and know I've got you. But it's two subjective people. So I probably, diagrams would help with this. It's important that mutuality exists even in the helper-helpee relationship. But the kind of mutuality, and I think I actually experienced that a lot. I think that's what my variety of mentoring and coaching and teaching is based on, deep mutuality. So I know mutuality really well when the roles, we've gotten it here, when the roles are clear. I know how to do the human to human mutuality. I live by that. When I get out of that at all, I feel like I'm off orbit. And I'll come back to that. But I think I'm just going to name it in a really basic way. Like I would like to have the mutuality of a partner, like a partner in life. And I haven't had a lot of that in my life. So that's what's that?
It's hard. It's hard in those relationships. I think it's hard in all relationships. And it's funny because I really am like dealing with this in a big way right now because I am hiring a doula to help me with my own birth in September. And so it is this really interesting thing where I am used to being in the helper role, and now I have to be the helpee, and it's pretty uncomfortable. And I'm seeing all the ways that I've like gotten really comfortable in that helper role, and also how, as you're saying, like that's not necessarily true mutuality, because I am, I try really hard to be really human all the time with my clients and in my role as a doula. But there's something about that that is still more comfortable for me than being in the helpy role, for sure. And I also know from being a doula that there is an energy exchange always. When you're helping, you're also receiving from the person who you're helping. Um,
You just gave words to something that was trying to form here. Yes. So there is the helpee within the helper and the helper
yes,
within the helpee.
exactly, exactly. Yes. And I want to, like you said, I want to be able to inhabit that like middle ground and not have to like be either the helpee or the helper, but to just like understand that, yes, that there's mutuality there.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult place. It's an uncomfortable place to inhabit, and not one that I think we're well trained to go to at all.
No, no, I think we're far more trained. There's a almost to keep score in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
Definitely.
to know, like, okay, yeah, did I do it? Did I do my job here? Did I uphold? Did I? And also, we're two Libras right here.
Yes.
Oh no, one more ounce on this side. Oh, a little off balance. Yeah.
Yep.
That looking for the I want to experience the kind of mutuality where the what this card is pointing to, what it's a placeholder. Some of these cards are placeholders for what I would love to understand, but
Mm-hmm.
don't yet. Um, the kind of exchange that isn't keeping track and is always telling the truth.
Yes.
Oh, that
Yeah.
feels divine. Like, which is, I can like link it to the three R's. That is like reveling in the body is in every second knowing the true. What is my true data on a sensation and emotion level? How am I feeling? And if I don't know the emotion word, what are the sensations in my body? Because it will always tell the truth. And then that's what I use my raw data, and I come into whatever relationship is, and I say, oh, my, I have a big ouch in the pit of my stomach. Oh my gosh. And then we respond together about, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that's a good example, but
No, I
yeah.
think it's a really good example of the process, and I'm with you 100%. Like that ideal place of like not keeping score and being able to be truthful. But it's so hard. And I think, like you said, like as a Libra, it's especially hard because you always want the scale to balance out. And I think really like it needs to like unbalance and then rebalance itself, and then unbalance in the other direction and rebalance itself. And that's so hard for us who want to keep everything like even all the time. And I think there's a big piece too about like value and worth. Like if you're able to keep track and keep score, then you can like quantify your value or worth, and like reassure yourself that you are worthy and valuable. And if you can't, then it becomes really ambiguous, and that's kind of scary ground to be on, I think.
Then you have to just trust um, your internal reference of what
Yes.
is, yeah. You have to really turn up the dial on internal reference
Which
for.
is like the core of pretty much all the work I've done with you.
Yeah. And there is a yeah, yeah. The What are other names for that? I like to call it being in the center of myself.
Yeah.
That's a favorite way, but there's so many ways to refer to. I think, um, I mean, it's what happens when we I just more and more I'm liking what used to just be a stale psychological terms. It's individuation.
Mhm.
Very few of us individuate by the time, we're done with our teens. I think
Right.
that most of us, I mean, maybe there's now, maybe because generations can stand on the shoulders or sit on the shoulders of those who came before. Hopefully, the work that we've done can help the generations after us, um, maybe make it through by the time that they hit their Saturn return when they're done with their 20s. But I would say I'm 80% done with individuation. Somewhere maybe 85. I'm close.
Yeah,
I'm not done. Yeah.
I would say maybe like 60%. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like
I've got some years on you, Tova.
a few. A few. But it
Mm.
makes me think a lot about a question that you always guided us to come back to when I was doing womb with you, which was what would you like? And
Oh,
it's often like the hardest question to answer, but
yeah.
is really like I think really speaks to all of that, like individuation. What are you feeling in any given moment? Like what is it that you really want? But so difficult.
Yeah. And who, what will, when you, the subsequent questions too, which I mean, we could spend the whole time on this, but um, what will having that do for you?
Yeah.
Have the thing and knowing it might be not what you think, and it might be motivated, that desire might be motivated not by us, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
how would you say the essence
essence of
of
sexuality.
what this card is?
Gosh, sexuality, if you can read my writing. Mm. Oh, okay. I want to give a definition that is outside of any specific relationship. It's just when there's two. And part of me wants to all of a sudden go very meta and have the mutuality within the person. Stop it. That's for later. Essence down, general definition that when mutuality is happening, when whoever are the two in the dyad, the two people relating, when they're both in the center of themselves, or they have a way to, of course, to come back, like
Mhm.
a little, what is it, like a weeble, or the, if you push it to the side, oh, then it comes back, but doesn't fall down.
Mhm.
Yeah, comes back. So when the two are both are constantly returning to the center of themselves. I don't know, what do you think about that?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a really great way to define it. I think for me, the thing that tied it together the most was saying like a relationship where I'm trying to remember exactly what you said. A relationship where there is no keeping score and everybody is being truthful and truthful with
Oh
themselves.
my gosh, I like that. Yeah, where nobody's keeping score and everybody's being truthful about their current state. Lovely. I feel like that's good for
Yes.
sexuality. Yay. Ha 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 ha. And we might as well, I mean, we haven't talked about anything related to actual performing, but I think
Yes.
things that we just said, I would change them a little bit, talking about an artist on stage, whether they're doing burlesque or any other form of art, and then their audience, um, which I like to call wittiants, those who are witnessing them. Um, I think in that context, I would say the not keeping score is I'm not waiting for the response that I want
Right.
to, I'm I am expressing this of course varies on if you're doing improvisation or not, but let's just say I'm expressing what I wholeheartedly feel, and I'm allowing you, I'm just going to, because I think it helps to be specific. I'm going to say in a burlesque solo, let's say I have a choreography that's set up for me to remove my bra at in this verse, at this phrase. And let's say there I am, and oh, that maybe the audience has been just delighted with all that I've shared with them over the 2.5 minutes prior. And I've been delighted too. And then something shifts and I don't feel like taking my bra off at that time, even though I've planned to. I think this is a bit of a stretch, but I'm saying for true mutuality, I would not remove my bra then.
Right.
I would do something else, because otherwise I've given, I don't want to use this keep score. I've given something that I decided in the past, and I'm deciding now, oh, but I want to give that because I know they want that. But I'm abandoning mutuality. If I leave, if I consent to more than or different than I really choose, that's leaving mutuality.
Right. It's not coming from the center of yourself, which was like your initial definition of mutuality, is that you're being truthful about where your center actually is.
It's very convicting when I think about it in all different circumstances. Oh my God.
It's so hard for me personally, and I know that other performers you've worked with feel differently about this, but it is so hard for me to have that true mutuality when there is an audience. But I always feel it in rehearsals, with whatever is like the core group of performers. I think that that's probably, like, our rehearsals for like a bio show are probably my truest experience of mutuality.
I'm going to translate a few things because these are terms that we know so well.
Yes, I know. I'm talking.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I know what you're saying, but I want to share with other people what, when Tova earlier said womb is an acronym for Your Life is Your Work of Art, which was the name of do you know that was only 4 months? It was only 4 months long. I know, because we kind of lived 4 years in those 4 months. It was an intimate, beautiful, what's called a circle of transformation. Call it what you want. It was a beautiful,
it was amazing.
It was a alchemical container, and then bio. It stands for burlesque from the inside out, which I actually, I know what you're saying. I do love also when the audience is gathered who hasn't been in the creation, but I love it most when they're well trained.
Yes. And that's why the rehearsals are so great, because everybody there is so well trained.
Yes.
You have like the best, most well trained audience of people who have actually like done this themselves and know what it feels like to be standing in the shoes of the performer. But I think
it does. Yeah.
I think that it's like the rehearsal is like the perfect setup for mutuality, and then the performance is almost a chance to like practice mutuality, but like a level up. So it's more challenging.
Oh my God,
it's more difficult.
So well said. Yeah, it's mutuality the whole way through. Oh my God, I'm so glad. At first I was a little nervous when this card came up because I told you I was transparent. I don't completely know.
It's a really hard one. I think
but this is really helping. And I would say yes, that in the class we are going rung by rung, honing into mutuality. And then when it's the performance, you have the option to take it up a level. I just have to say, I know you got things going on right now, but now that we're doing shelter at home and all of the bio programs are happening online, guess what? Our shows are online, and they're only open to the people who are you're in class with and alumni.
Right. I
So
love it.
I hope you can come. This is not for the public, sorry. But mark your calendar for June 6th. And if
Okay.
you are 11:11 in the morning, because you'll, yeah, because you'll like it.
Awesome.
Um, that's so exciting on Mutuality. Should we pull another?
Yes.
Okay. The one that I was looking for, I couldn't find at all, and we might do it as the third one, but we'll do one that's here. Reach.
Mm.
Now, is that, I think that's one we have looked at together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh
That's,
yeah.
and often in that famous term of interrupted reach.
Mm.
That's not the only way to look at reach, but most of us, especially empathic folks, especially because when we are, I use empathic and sensitive pretty interchangeably. When we're acutely aware of what someone else, and it's often early life experience, it's often a mother or a mother-like figure, a teacher, someone close, that when we notice that we're expressing this center of self, this, oh, this is exactly what I need. Yeah. Oh, right now I'm angry. Right now I'm sad. If any of what we're expressing is outside the window of welcome of one of the key caregivers, it's a reaction that's so typical is to stop reaching, meaning to stop expressing how we feel, what we want. Um, and then if that doesn't complete at some point, because there's many opportunities to complete, it can stay well into adulthood of not actually, the reach has so many stages. It has to identify what I want. That's there. But it's not just identify. It's actually making an action with our voice, with our arm.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's an out in the world. Yeah, interrupted reach, not in all areas of my life, but interrupted reach has been one of the, I think, the largest prisons that I've
Mm.
erected up for myself is
Yeah.
interrupted reach related.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of how when I first started working with you, I had literally not danced for like 10 years and
Yeah,
had just
no,
like
no
and
reach,
had
no
just
reach for it.
stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah, because and it was exactly that. The like, you know, for me it was a series of things that happened that were like, I'm gonna stop reaching for this. And then eventually coming back and like reaching for that again, just what a big like sigh of relief it was to complete that and to be like, ah,
yeah.
it's safe for me to want this, it's safe for me to pursue this, and it's like safe for me to have this.
My whole body relaxes when I hear that.
I have to say, when I first saw the card, the first thing that it made me think of is extensions and like actually reaching in
Yeah.
dance.
Oh, I'm so glad it hit that way. That makes me happy. I want that to be the first thing I think of. So I don't know if you're listening to us, you don't see what I'm doing, but I'm literally raising my arms to the sky and a bit of victory V. Because yes, extensions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love extensions. They feel
Actually,
so good.
well, I don't want to leave reach just yet, but that might be our third word.
Mm. I do love extensions.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, they feel so good. I've been doing a lot of them because of the like pregnant belly organ squishing together thing that's going on in my body right now. Um, extensions have been pretty much the best feeling thing that I can possibly do with my body at the moment. So,
Oh, Extend. What? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. What I'm tracking right now is that I have extend coded. The truth is, any of the movements do, when we revel in our bodies, when we reveal who we are, our radiant essence, and when we receive what we desire, when any of them get strong, the other two are also strong. They don't
Mhm.
happen in a vacuum. They actually happen all at once. Um, but for the sake of being able to isolate things and talk about them and apprehend them one by one, they're separated into their own little um, cards. But extend is actually a part of the reveal family. Isn't that
Oh.
interesting?
I thought that it was Revel because of the like
Oh, did you?
victory bee.
Well, I think it's all three then.
It is. Yeah,
They're
they're
really all
all
three.
three. They're
But
all three.
but when we literally, when we extend limb,
Right.
heart, we are, I would just put it in that's where it lives, but all it's
That
related.
makes so much sense. Yeah.
But no, but when you just said extension and reach, that's also very obvious.
Yeah.
It's also
Yeah.
very,
When I mean, we've talked about reach a lot, but when I first saw it, like it just immediately I like immediately saw the connection of like reach and extension. And I was just thinking about like a long, extended, delicious, like reaching
yeah, yeah.
movement.
It's interesting because Valerie, who actually was the last person I spoke with, um, I think in this interview series, she's given a name to the variety, or she's looking for a
Mm,
name for the variety of burlesque acts that seem like the core kind that come through. And she calls it, I think she first called it boudoir burlesque, but no, that makes me think of too much of someone in a certain kind of lingerie. But it's like intimacy. It's intimacy burlesque.
mm,
There is the, not that you couldn't make a fast solo that does the things, brings you more into contact with the center of yourself and your own level of what is it I really do want to feel and reveal and receive. What are those things? But it's certainly slower ones tend to do that more consistently or fully. And I
yeah.
think of yours, and I think of the trajectory of
That's
your,
exactly what I was
yeah,
thinking.
yeah, your first one. I love all of your acts, but the first one had
It was so fast and
yeah,
so choreographed and had
yeah.
so many like elements. There were props, there was fruit and a veil and like this and that. And then like my last one was like the slowest, most pared down, most like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of some other, like her first stage. Both of you had a stage name shift. I think that's significant when that happens. That's like a
Hmm.
different stage, and you went from Kira Royale to Lemon Bombshell, balm with an A, ha ha ha.
Yes.
From Queen Clarita to Aphrodite Jones. So
That's
yeah,
right.
and and she has this. Aphrodite Jones has this, so it's such a specific, languorous, luxurious,
Hmm.
slow, there's a deep simplicity. Oh my gosh, there's that word again. That word keeps trying to get into the deck. It got, this is what's happening. We're,
Simplicity.
yeah, it's not in there, but it's going to have to be a subtext in another.
Yeah.
And but all that came from reach, and extensions really are, I think what they're doing solidly is they come from, they're instigated from a delicious feeling. Yeah. And then the limb reaches out and reveals, and the end of the extension is a reach.
Hmm.
So I think they're unfurling all at once. But it is true that I could not get enough of extensions ever.
I know they're so delicious. But thinking about extensions as revealing and reach as revealing, it is. I mean, what you're talking about when you're talking about interrupted reach is like that you have like exposed something vulnerable. You've revealed something about yourself and then it wasn't received well.
Yeah.
And like that's the motion that gets interrupted. So I'm definitely starting
To see
to
both.
see both. Yeah.
So essence down. Oh gosh. Do you want to give it a shot? Reach.
I would say it's the impulse to take action on behalf of what you want.
Ooh, that's so beautiful, essence sound. I love that. So I think that it probably a good question in that card would be, if there were
What
questions,
would you like?
well,
What
what
would
would you
you
like, and what what are you not, what are you not, maybe even also try to check under the covers. What are you almost not willing to admit to yourself that,
Mm,
or that you're reaching, that you would reach for felt um if you felt safe, or
yeah.
yeah, something like that. Tova. I feel like, well, we did do extend, but
I'm really curious to know what the one you had in mind was.
sovereignty.
Oh, I've been thinking about that one a lot lately.
Oh, okay, that's why. So shall we?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
please.
Sovereignty is also in the receive family. Where is it? It's the receive is the third if you're going in order, and it's almost at the, wow. It's the last note card of,
Mm,
the of the 8 notes of
yeah.
receiving. It's the eighth one, and that means it is, it's the end. It's the end of the rainbow. In this
Oh,
cosmology, sovereignty is where we're going.
right.
Yeah, that's had a little whole body drop in when I said that.
Yeah.
Sovereignty is where we're going. Oh, and I love that we're talking about sovereignty and mutuality, because they're very related. You can't have sovereignty without having internal and external mutuality.
Hmm.
Just, yeah. But
And they also seem kind of like opposites on the surface.
on the surface, they do.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean? Here's the 2, and then there's the 1, but it's, sovereignty. Yeah. Well, but here's where they meet. Like, there's this unto oneself, or unto one's country. This old English almost, the unto, being true to oneself. But what we were talking about with mutuality is, I can't be true in a dyad or in a partnership
Hmm.
unless I start with what's true here, which
Right.
often highly sensitive people might not even know what's true here, but they might be able to give you a report, a whole book report on what's true for the other 10 people in the room. But it's knowing what's true here. It The fear is the very visceral, body based, memories based, all of the experiences that haven't quite completed have us afraid that if I really tell the truth about who I am, what I need, what I know, I will lose all belonging.
Hmm.
It's a way less than conscious fear. It's got its fingers in. So, but from that place, that's where um, we get to have powerful relationship. Um,
Yep.
yeah.
I was it's it's so funny. I feel like these cards are really perfect for everything that's been going on in my life because literally before I got on this call, I had an argument with my partner, Peter, and it didn't it didn't feel bad at all. It felt
You're so advanced. Please tell us.
it was an argument about setting a boundary. I wanted to set a boundary that with some people outside of our relationship that he thought was like asking for too much. And it just felt really good to be like, no, I know where this boundary is for me. And to be interacting with him from that place instead of getting talked into, like in the past I would have always gotten talked into like, oh no, I'm being too much, like I'm asking for too much. And it just was really, it felt really simple to me that it was a perfectly reasonable thing to ask for, and that that was my truth in the moment.
I love that. I mean, there's your words, but I'm actually stepping into you as you say them and feeling what that's like. And it's what you're describing. And again, gosh, boy, if anyone gets this deck and then pulls mutuality and sovereignty together, you might start to be able to apprehend what's coming up here. I'm learning so much. You weren't worried about one bean. You weren't keeping track. You had your compass was, and you weren't, I don't know, I wasn't there in the room, but it sounds like it just wasn't coming. You weren't pushing out. You were
No.
just, oh, this is true. I
Yeah.
actually know this to be true. This is what I know slash need slash have decided, and it's not against you. It's just that's where it is, and that's what I feel when I step into you. There wasn't
Yeah.
there were you
No,
weren't.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It wasn't like a big, it didn't feel like a big push pull, which is not, like, I should definitely say, like, that is not my usual. And it was definitely kind of like a welcome surprise to find myself having that experience. But I think I have been moving more and more towards that lately. I'm in um my tarot year this year is Emperor, and it was Empress last year, which is very much related to sovereignty.
Very much.
And what I've really been learning about sovereignty and about the Emperor is that it's about structure and form,
Yeah.
which is boundaries, like you can't have structure and form without having boundaries.
Yeah. I love talking with you.
I know, me too. I miss you so
More,
much.
please. More, please. The world is witnessing our myrrh. Don't care. Yeah, it's just true. Well, that is a really lovely. That's lovely. That's on your menu now.
Yeah,
That's on your menu. That's great.
newly added, yeah. And hopefully I'll be able to like find it again next time that I need it. But yeah.
Mm. Wow. How do we say sovereignty in a short way?
It's such a hard one.
Something
What do you think? What's coming up for you? You
really
look like
about
you're having
being true to oneself, and there's the and part. I lost it. That train left. It was there. It was there.
Well, it's like I remember a couple of years ago, you and I were talking about, you know, having a very typical conversation for like one of our sessions, which started off with like, how would you like to feel, or what would you like? And I was saying it's not self-confidence, because self-confidence feels too much like pushing out.
Yeah.
And we decided on self-comfortableness, because it's like,
Yes.
it's that feeling of like, I'm true to myself, but I don't need to push it out. I'm just gonna kind of like hold it for myself, within myself, and not hide it, but like that I don't need to like do it at you. I don't need to like, you know, be true to myself in a way that's projecting outward.
I like that. I'm remembering that self-comfortableness.
Yeah.
I think that sovereignty has that in it, and at least in the sovereignty, this might be a little different than what Webster's would say, but sovereignty is coming, entering the world with the information that you have from yourself. I know there's some sense of the masculine and the feminine, the form and the essential state and the form are agreeing with each other so much. But I want to say that in a way that's not so strange. I think sovereignty comes when we don't need the other, we can choose the other. That's where mutuality is mutuality is an important step on the way. It's where there is this completeness.
Yeah.
Completeness, that's the unto self thing. But it's not the completeness that keeps us isolated and separate. It's not like I've sealed myself off into my own private castle, but my completeness can relate with your completeness through agreements and disagreements. I think like what you experienced in that novel argument was a sovereignty.
Yes.
A sovereignty. Sometimes people say, I like that. Sovereignty, either way.
Yeah.
There's something about just thinking on the elemental, there's a perfectly balanced, which doesn't mean static balance, but the dynamic balance of masculine and feminine within someone when they're in a state of sovereignty. They know it, they have it from themselves, they're reading themselves, their feminine nature of sensing is really strong, and then how they bring it out in the world, there's form and boundaries, but it's not pushy.
Yeah.
I just say that in a shorter way even, but I think it's because I'm just finding it.
It's almost like the form and boundaries just exist there. They're not like,
yeah,
they're not in action. They're not like towards anyone or towards anything. They just like exist.
their muscles aren't flexing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, I love that. They're just there. They're not hiding and they're not pushing out.
Yeah.
That
sounds about right.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. We did 3.5 cards.
That's true, because we did talk about
a lot of extend from the Oh my goodness. How much fun is that?
It's so fun. I love it. I could play with cards all day with you.
Well, I think that you don't go anywhere. We can still talk, but we're going to say goodbye to our friends in the world.
Okay.
Goodbye, friends in the world. And now,
goodbye, friends.
Now, if you want to follow Tova, that's Tova at Instagram.com and darkmoondoula.com, upcoming emerging site. And thank you, world, for.
Thank you, Kel. This was amazing.
So much fun. I can't wait to play with the deck with you more when it's in the physical form, and for me to play and understand it more and to share it with all of you too. So until the next interview,